guys, it's Million here, and you are watching my first ever Redstone video, and it's also my most interactive video to date, as it's made up of you guys' ideas. And yeah, we got some really great contributions. Keep up the comments. If you have any new ideas, just pop them under this video. But yeah, let's get into it. This first suggestion comes in from Nico, who says, you can build a flying TNT cannon with redstone. So I have an idea of what I'm gonna do here. Last time I tried to make a TNT cannon, it blew itself up. So I'm just gonna run a little test first. I'm just going to test if TNT still doesn't blow things up when it's in flowing water. That was so dumb. When it's in flowing water. Because I've done it in... My water was flowing last time, I think. Okay, I have no idea why it blew itself up last time. But yeah, let's get on with the actual redstone. So I'm just going for a basic TNT cannon here. I'll just build a normal TNT cannon first, before we do the flying part. And I think I've worked out why it exploded last time, because my water was flowing this way. So it must have flown all the way out of the water and then been on here and then blown stuff up. But now I hate doing redstone while flying because it's really hard to get the it's hard to crouch while flying because you just fly down past. But that should be it. Okay, so all the dispensers now have TNT, so hopefully this should work. I think that worked. I did see an explosion go off up here, although it hasn't flown particularly far. Oh, that's what I need to do. If I just add a longer delay in here. Hopefully this isn't so long that this blows up before that's been dispensed. But now that I've made the delay much longer, then it should be able to fly longer. Did that just explode in unloaded chunks? Okay, let's try and follow it this time so we can see it. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, now flying TNT cannon. Oh dear. I placed one block slightly in the way of the TNT, and then all this happened. So, yes, I did not make a backup, so I am building this all again. Okay, so it isn't the best looking plane, but it is completely functional. There is like a slice here because the TNT needs to pass through, but as you can see, if I press this button, we will get our TNT launched out, and it did explode in the distance. And I also added a switch that will switch it from high mode to low mode. So now that I've moved that block into the way of the TNT, then when I hit it now, it will just take a slight nick on the block and end up going down that way instead. So, yeah. So a switch to change it from being high or low, and most importantly, a functional TNT cannon. So now let's move on to the next challenge, which is from AJM, who says I should try to build an automatic railway system, which I took to mean some sort of like city transport sort of thing. So yeah, I'll start off by making a simple loop and then I'll add the automatic part. Okay, so I have a little mock-up railway system here. So these are the stations. Obviously there would be more if this was a real like, if you built this in a city, you would do it with more stations and a much bigger line, but it is going to be a loop line. I don't fancy trying to make an automatic, normal branch line, but what I want to happen is there will be minecarts going around, maybe just one on this size, and I want it to only stop here if there's someone waiting for it at the station, and if there isn't, then it should just continue on. So I've added a standard piston door to the station, but if you look down here you can see I've kept the output from each pressure plate separate rather than just having one central redstone line as you normally would, which has made it a lot bigger, but it also means that I can take the output from this side only and use that to detect when someone walks into the station, so that we know if somebody walks into the station then we need to get a train to stop, but if someone walks out then we want it not to think a train should stop. Actually, I have just realised that I made a really dumb mistake there, because you walk over these ones on the way out anyway. So actually I should have done a much more low-tech version. Okay, that's actually quite embarrassing. Okay, so it's back to looking like a normal piston door now. I've decided I'm just going to have an entrance only door and an exit only door over here. So it's not, I don't have to destroy everything, but yeah, I still can't get over how dumb that idea was. Okay, so now you can just enter through this way and then exit through this way, and you can't go backwards in either of them. So now we'll be able to detect when someone enters the station. Okay, so my idea is that whenever someone walks over that pressure plate, this dropper will shoot an item to this dropper, and then we will detect the item in here, and if there is an item in here, then this switch does the powered rail will turn the powered rail off, and then at that point then we need, this is a detector rail above this one, so we'll detect it. In fact, that should just be like this, but we'll detect it, and then that'll make this turn back on again and shoot the item back out of this dropper when the minecart comes over, after a delay that lets the person get in. Every time someone leaves, it loses an item, so that means this is constantly keeping track of how many people are in the station. Guys, I just realized my plane has no wings. Like, yeah, no wonder I thought it didn't look very good. I literally forgot to put wings on. I guess this is gonna stay like that now, just as a reminder of my stupidity. This thing still is fun to use though. It even like launches you up in the air when it fires. Or it did when I did it off camera. Maybe if I go back a bit. Yeah, that time it got launched. Doing this will never get old. Well, it's literally like 10 seconds after I recorded that last clip. I decided to press the button 3 times in a row without waiting for it to fire first. I figured that it would just put in 3 times as much TNT and it would be great. But no, the entire thing got destroyed. Well, it was fun while it lasted. So what I've got so far is actually very promising. This comes around, and when it stops, it just stops for a while, and eventually it goes again. Now that might not look like much, but that's because it is set. Like, I walked through the door, and I obviously haven't. It doesn't know that I've left. So, the only thing left to do should be to make it reduce the number of people on the station by 1 every time a minecart comes over here, because this dispenser down here stores the amount of people in the station, and currently there's people in there and it's never going away, so it's stopping every time. But that's all I've got left to do, I think. So all I did was took another output from the detector rail and put it into the dispenser. I might need to make this last a bit longer, I'm not sure, but it should be fully functional. So I'll just wait till that's gone past. We enter, so that should tell it that there's someone there. Okay, good, this is turned off. And then now, it'll assume somebody got in, and off it goes. And now this is now permanently on because there's nobody at the station anymore because they got in last time it turned around. So that does work well, and it functions. However, the wait, like the time the minecart waits at the station has been massively reduced by this. I just need to extend the delay here, and then it's completely done. I've added 2 new circuits, and I've just realised I failed with one of them. I'll fix it. I've added 2 new circuits, one of them which means that this tripwire adds 1 to the counter of people in the station, and another that means that when they leave through this door, 1 is taken away. So this is like someone entering. You've entered when you pass through here, and then you leave when you go through the door. And the leaving through the door means that if someone walks in like this and then leaves, it'll be fine. It's not going to count them as being there. As you just saw, that didn't stop. And it also means that when someone comes into the station and then someone else goes onto the minecart as they go off, then it doesn't take only 1 away when 2 people have left. So I'm not going to add the system to this other station as well. I'm just going to pretend it's the same because it was a real pain to build this, and I'm sure all the people who are much better at Redstone than me could easily make this more compact and easier to build. But it should be fully working, so I'll go through all the different scenarios. So firstly, if I just walk in and want to catch a train, this has now gone off because I'm in here. So I've entered, as it stopped, and then after a while it continues. I'll just pretend I've got off there for demonstration purposes. And now let's pretend there was 2 people at the station. So one person has entered, and now another person has entered. So the first person can now get on, and then this time when it turns on, it does not turn on permanently. It turns off again, so that person 2 can get on. But what if I decide I don't want the train? Well, I can just leave. And as you saw there, after I exited, the train did not actually stop. So, what if I got on at a different station? In that case, this would sense that I'm in here, and it turns it off in time for me to stop. It triggers the exact same counter that the pressure plates over there trigger, and it stopped in enough time to let me on, and it continued going after that. Now, that's all fine. Even though it has already cancelled the fact that I'm here, I can still leave. It doesn't do any harm. So, that is my fully automatic train station system. I think I am relatively proud of this one, although I'm obviously not proud of the tidiness of the circuit, but yeah, that was a real pain. Let's move on to something easier. So, the next idea was, you can probably guess who put this idea in, but it was, build a machine that gives Chipper diamonds. So, you can see here, this is the entrance for anyone that isn't Chipper. I'm going to walk in. You can see I get no diamonds. Now if Chipper goes in his entrance, this is the Chipper only entrance. In you go. And you can see he was given diamonds. Okay, so that wraps up today's redstone video. If your idea wasn't featured, it will be very likely featured in the next episode, and if you do have an idea that you want to be featured in the next episode or a future one, then please leave a comment below this video, and you will have a high chance of being featured in the next episode as well. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Leave a like if you liked, check out some of my others, and if you do tend to enjoy my videos, click that little red button just below the screen. See you next time.